Alright, so I've gotten a little bit done since the last clip. Got ourselves a pile of metal on the ground that was the front core support, and you will see I got myself a radiator mocked up in there, so let's go ahead and check this out. So, got my radiator mocked up in here on some scissor jacks. It is centered in where it's going to be. I've got it notched out along here, so it's actually tucked forward and into the core support a little bit. So the bottom is in about the factory location. I have the front end tipped forward, so just to help with clearance and whatnot for the upper radiator hose, because that is my biggest issue I had with this radiator in my other car. And yes, I could just go buy another radiator that has the outlet on the proper side, but we're working with what we got here. This is all budget oriented. We're using used good parts, and this thing is pretty rough, so I think for version 1 of the drift car that'll be just fine. So I'm now going to start making some plates to go on the side, because I want to make a little tube structure of a radiator support for it. And luckily these here are laying around. These are 45-degree bends, and as much as I would like to make it one continuous piece, these are laying around so I can cut them in the middle and make them to the length I need, and at least give my radiator support maybe a weak spot so it saves my frame rails a little bit. But at the same time, who cares? We're experimenting and having fun, and in my mind that's how I kind of want it to look. So I'm gonna keep rocking with that and see what happens. So time to make some cardboard templates for my brackets, and I'll show you what I've figured out once I got those done. So I got a little bit carried away and didn't film, but got both brackets here completely made. So I'm going to notch my tube to go right into the corner of it and come down from there. So those are all ready to go. Tomorrow evening I will figure out my lengths for these. I'll get the radiator mocked back up in here and figure out how everything needs to set. So good progress for tonight. Well, I've ended up doing quite a bit again since the last time I filmed. The radiator support is now fully welded to the brackets I made. Next thing I'm working on right now is getting some brackets underneath, or some tabs underneath to go to those, and get the radiator mounted in here. So, of course, I've already played with CAD a little bit and got our pieces laid out and all ready to cut them out, get them welded on, and then I can figure out how we're securing it on the top. But overall, pretty happy with how it's come out. It's tucked in there how I wanted it, and the front bar came out exactly how I wanted it, so very happy so far. lower rad support is all done, minus some final welding I got to do on the actual support pieces underneath, and then this little bracket I made to tie the centerpiece there back in. I don't really know what you would call that, but I really wanted to keep that. I don't know why, just to me it was fitting to leave it, so made that bracket there to get her mounted back up. And yeah, overall I'm very happy with this. Now I'm just on to doing a little bit of debating of how I want to secure it up top. Currently just have it zip tied in there, but very happy with this. I've got it moved forward about 1.5 inches from where it was, and it's down probably another inch, so very happy with that. I could obviously go a lot of different routes with this, but this radiator is what I have laying around, and I've seen a few other people over the last year that I've talked to do this, so I'm kind of excited I got to do it. The people that I've seen do it don't really keep a radiator cap, but whatever, I did. Notched my radiator support for it, but it is what it is. We can work with it, so either way, this radiator isn't that nice. It's probably going to get swapped out eventually, but it's still good enough for this car, so we're going to keep trucking along with it. And either way, it ain't hard to change up a couple lower mounts if I do end up going a different route with this radiator, but like I said, I'm very happy with this, so. Well, for once I was able to kind of go through and film my process of fabricating something. Got my upper radiator brackets made, tabs to hold her in. Radiator support is all done. Look how menacing that front end looks. Love what I'm able to produce these days, because I'm always surprising myself. These here took me quite a while to ponder how I wanted to do them, how I wanted to fasten it in, if I was going to use the factory tabs that came off, and finally came up with this idea, and I'm very happy with it. So, time to get the lower bracket off here. I just got to weld this bracket on and the lower tabs for the radiator itself. Get those welded up and start cleaning up the engine bay here. Get the little bit of rust repair here done. Sand her all down, prime it. Get this thing painted, and then we are moving on to wiring. So well, have made a lot of progress on this firewall. Got our holes all reshaped, welded in. A couple more welded in over here. Got my rust patch over here cleaned up and primed. So I am now ready to start playing with some Bondo on here. Just gonna skim it quick. I'm not trying to make this look nice, just trying to get rid of the rough edges of everything. These pieces kind of dimple in because they're just pressed from the backside forward. So there's a slight dimple. That's why that one's kind of off there and whatnot. And these bigger ones I ground out a little bit better, but that little one I'm not too worried about. It's in a spot where you're really never going to see it, so I'm only doing it for my own satisfaction. So gonna dive into playing with some Bondo, and next time you see this we might be actually spraying some. Well, we probably won't be spraying quite yet, but I'll definitely be prepping to actually get the rest of it sprayed. So I got this corner sprayed just because I wanted a protective layer on the rust that is here, so can have a little peace of mind on that for what it helps. So see what happens, but keep trucking away on this thing. Got my Bondo all skimmed on here last night and had it hardened. all last night and today, so I would say we're ready for a quick little marathon of sanding, and then we'll give a nice shoot of primer over the firewall, get this side all here cleaned up, hopefully prime the whole engine bay tonight. Would be sweet, so see what we can get done here, but I'm just going to jump right into it and get as much done as I can tonight. Well, I've gotten quite a bit done again here tonight. So my phone started dying right around finishing sanding, and since then the car has been put on jack stands in the front, the subframe is taken out, and one of my friends was nice enough to clean up the whole engine bay for me. He got it all scrubbed out, all the grease and whatnot, so we are basically ready to start doing final prep for paint. And well, primer first, and then getting around to paint on it. So we are making very good progress so far, I would say. Also got my radiator support all welded up and finalized, so this here can also get painted now, or primed and prepped, and you know, whatever I have to do for it. So heck yeah, hopefully tomorrow I'll be getting ready to throw some primer on this thing, so wish me luck.